Math and Arts Unit Assignment by Stephanie Combet. The real-life situation was extracted by a TED Talk in which Alexa Mead paints mesmerizing illusionistic portraits directly on living subjects, subverting familiar visual cues with perspective and color. She paints on surfaces of human subjects, found subjects, and architectural spaces in a way that optically compresses 3D space into a 2D plane when photographing the ephemeral installation or painting. The knowledge issue is to what extent does art imitate real life? The first knowledge claim was by the philosophy of mimesis and anti-mimesis, in which Aristotle takes a position that states that art imitates life. It is a critical and philosophical term that carries a wide range of meanings, which include imitation, representation, mimicry, receptivity, non-sensuous similarity, the act of resembling, the act of expression, and the presentation of the self. The concrete example relates to how art in many cases mirrors the life of the artist. One example is the life of August Strindberg on the play Miss Julie. It is one of the greatest classics of modern theatre, the fateful drama of a willful young aristocrat's seduction of his father's valet during a Midsummer's Eve celebration. The relationship between both Strindberg's life and Miss Julie has to do with how Strindberg's father married lover and maid after wife died. Julie's and Strindberg's mother also died. The portrayal of the social classes and how both Strindberg and Miss Julie were in search of identity and they didn't know where they belonged to in terms of social class and also gender. The counterclaim is anti-mimesis, which states that life imitates art. By Plato, the philosophy holds that art sets the aesthetic principles by which people perceive life, and does not imitate life. What is found in life and nature is not what is really there, but is that which artists have taught people to find there through art. The concrete example in relation to this counterclaim is an essay written by Oscar Wilde published in 1891, The Decay of Living. Wilde presents the essay in a Socratic dialogue, with the characters of Vivian and Cyril having a conversation throughout. Vivian tells Cyril of an article that he has been writing called The Decay of Lying, a protest. Vivian defends aestheticism and art for art's sake. It contains for doctrine that art never expresses anything but itself. All bad art comes from returning to life and nature and elevating them into ideals. Life imitates far more than art imitates life, and lying, the telling of beautiful and true things, is the proper aim of life. Finally, the personal example is a rose that I did for the IB art class during this summer. The idea came to me as I was going to leave roses to the cemetery to my father. It was not until I was in the process that I realized that the rose in many ways symbolized me, the way the colors and the brushstrokes show sensitivity, as also how the rose lives and dies. This art piece in a way imitated my life and resembled my feelings towards that event.